Okay, ladies and gentlemen, what is up? My name is Derek D. Ginger King. I want to do a bit of a channel update because I haven't done that in God knows how long. Probably a year, like an official one, probably about a year. Anywho, we're going to do a channel update right now. We haven't had like WWE content on this channel, I think, since like October. And that's really just because, one, they've very much limited my creative ability in this game. Ever since they took out the Create Suite out, there's no way to put scenes into my stories, and it just doesn't make what I did good. And I just feel no traction in this community with wrestling storylines and things like that. And we'll be getting to a couple of other things, so stick around or read the info below. So I'm really going to try a new type of GM mode with WWE, and that's going to be coming out soon in the next couple of days. Whenever this is out, it'll be coming out soon. I'm going to be trying to do a very intricate system, a monetary system that includes money, it includes points, it includes almost very similar to the UFC's business plan of weight classes. So we're going to be trying to do that with the WWE, with some exceptions here and there, and there and here. So, that being said, I want to describe this, but I'm going to describe this later. I want to go over the other stuff on my channel. I've been, obviously, you could probably tell my voice is a bit out of it still. I've been sick for the past week, and then the week before that I was on vacation. That's 2 weeks, and that's why there's no ARC. I was going to do ARC for February. I found it to be very entertaining, but I have to forestall it a month, and I might not do it now. This idea just kind of popped up in my head, so I had this idea, and I wanted to run with it, and with me, like, plans don't ever stick. I'm like a rolling stone. I'll stay here until I don't like it, or until it doesn't work, or until, just randomly, just because, and then I'll go to something else, and that's how it'll be always for me, just because of my personality. But I did want to do ARC, but there is no ARC for that reason. Now, I will say that I do want a better community on my channel. It seems like there's like 0 comments, and it seems like the 1,500 or so of you, I forgot the number, it's not 1,500, it's 29, 50, I don't remember how many subscribers I had, forgot my subs count, oh well, it seems like nobody is watching my videos, and that's probably just because laziness, right? I'm kind of a lazy piece of shit, and I don't put hardly any work into my videos, extra that I should be doing. But for my WWE fans especially, mostly it's because you guys came from my WWE or my NBA, and I haven't been doing that lately, and that is why. So if you're here, and if you're on my channel because of that, I'm restarting it, I'm booting it up, and I hope to see you support it. It's something new, it's something I haven't seen yet. Not even gritty urban saga on Twitch. It's not even similar to that. It is very much my own thing. It's strictly using the WWE roster as is, with some legends, as you can see, with Macho Man Randy Savage and the Ultimate Warrior. And it's going to be very unique and interesting. So again, I just want to stress to the big majority of people who are here for WWE content, it's back, and it is here for the moment. I'm not going to promise anything due to, my life. I've got a job now, I babysit my niece now. My life is extremely hectic, but this is a series that I don't have to put a lot of thought into. I am just basically going to be playing as the boss, the general manager, who tracks down the data, yeah, so I want to get more into that, but I want to really focus on what I am as a channel, and I want some of the new subscribers to kind of understand this. I love simulation games. I don't know why, I just love them. Like NBA simulation game. You never know who's going to pop up, like the Jazz in the NBA could have like an 8-game win streak in the video game, or like the star player gets traded. I love stuff like that. It ruffles my frills when stuff like that happens. So simulation type gaming is my niche. It's my little corner of paradise. And this pro wrestling, this WWE, I love wrestling. I love simulation games. That's why these are my games. That's why I love them so much. I will admit that these recent games are the ones that I've liked the least. I think even over SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, only because at least 2011 they had the universe mode, and it was glitchy still, but it was new and it was something exciting. Whereas now the universe mode's kind of played out. They need to evolve it. They need to make it more intricate. They need to make a general manager mode possible within the confines of universe mode. They need to do a lot, and these types of games I've had issues with. In the past 2 years, that's obvious. I've been a lot of change going through my life, a lot of maturity, a lot of going to college, a lot of job taking, and all this other fun stuff, and a lot of understanding the market. What I did with storylines and stuff was fun. It was great for a couple years there. We had great stories. We had awesome. We were top of the YouTube for like a little bit there at the beginning. Whenever the game would come out, we were always the top one because we were there first. But now it's so diluted, and people actually are getting really good at this. They have stories that just go on and on and on for 2 or 3 years. So people have history. So those stories become theirs. And then suddenly my stories, when they change from year to year, they're not as interesting as, say, a Brendan's plays, or as, say, whatever, another, like, kind of like Gorham Perkins. But I found myself getting bored with those types of gameplays. Like, I watch them and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. But then I go, oh, he's just doing SmackDown versus Raw again. Yep. He split the brand again. Yep. I mean, it's the same old type of thing. And I want to take that in a different direction. So I like simulation type games, and that's what I really loved about the Dynasty Warriors playthrough. So if you're a WWE fan and you loved my WWE stuff, and you loved my stories and my simulation types, and you loved the storylines that I picked up, which I had to from the game, and then ran with them, and then it paid off later because the game did something randomly and it just worked out, you will love that Dynasty Warriors playthrough, because it was just an awesome game to play. It was fun. It's going to be even more fun if I ever decide to do a sequel, because I've jam-packed more characters from other random bits of universes. It's really cool. I really enjoy it. It's almost like that Lego movie, right? That's what it reminds me of. So go try that out if you would. I would also like to say that I don't consider myself a professional YouTuber. I don't consider myself a pro. I don't consider myself someone who, excuse the French if you're a child watching, gives a shit anymore. I really don't. I just do it to feed my ego, to be totally honest. Like, I have to do this just because I haven't been doing anything for a week because I've been sick. So I watched Breaking Bad. I got done with that. Been super depressed. And I just go, you know what? I've got to at least try. You know, even if it's a shout in the dark. You know what I mean? Like, even if it's me lighting a match in a dark hallway that I can't see, and then the match goes out, at least the match was lit and I tried. You know what I mean? That's the kind of feeling I have now. Whereas before, I thought that I was the best in the world, which I still did and do think I'm the best in the world at creating stories. But I just don't have the creative time or the technology to do so. So WWE, if you're happening to watch this, please hire me. I'd love to create stories for you. I also want to touch on, I've been watching a lot of Lucha Underground, and I wanted to combine a bit of Lucha Underground with UFC, where it feels like Lucha Underground isn't really a company. It's just a place where luchadors fight, and it's interesting. It's super interesting. If you're a wrestling fan and you haven't seen Lucha Underground, go watch Lucha Underground. It's really, really, really cool. And then I wanted to combine that with the money and the business and that professional side of UFC. I wanted to combine those two things. So now I'm going to get into this new universe mode / GM mode, which I'm calling General Manager mode. Because GM mode was one thing. General Manager mode is something completely different. In NBA General Manager, you play as a general manager, right? You're able to change someone's pay or change someone's this or that. Basically, in my universe mode, and we're going to go over this card and we're going to explain it. In my universe mode, there's two shows, Raw and SmackDown. If I had old school SmackDown, that'd be great, but I don't. But we have old school Raw, so I like old school Raw. We'll go with that. Old school Raw has 3 weight classes. Now, they're not really weight classes. They're more just classes, all right? So it's not brand warfare that I'm working with. It's class warfare, all right? And on Monday Night Raw, it's the main show. It's on Monday nights. It's got to be the heavy hitter. So we are going to have the Divas, or the women, in which I'm going to be calling it the women's division, and their champion will be Charlotte. I kind of want to keep it to the current product as well. So Charlotte will be the current champ. We are going to have the Legends Championship, which will actually be the old school SmackDown Championship, the good gold looking one, the straight gold looking one. We're bringing that back out of retirement. And that is going to be held by Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he will be defending against Legends. Only Legends can go for that title, and of course only women can go for the women's title. And then we will have the WWE Championship, which will be for the main eventers. Now, they don't necessarily have to be heavyweights, but people like Randy Orton and John Cena, all right? So that's what's going to be going on with that. That's on Monday Night Raw. On SmackDown, we're going to be having 2 championships, and let me hurry and go to them real quick. So there you go. You can see the championships. For the main championship, it's the WWE Championship. I wanted to go for a more classic feel. I've never used this championship before, so I wanted to use this one. We got the gold belt for the Legends, the blue world belt for the main eventers, and the women's title for the women. Now, we have light heavyweight and cruiserweight. What's the difference? I will tell you. Light heavyweight is for people who should be main eventers, but they're too small. Finn Balor, Hideo Itami, Daniel Bryan, people of that nature. Daniel Bryan, because he retired, and while I didn't much like him all that much, I did respect him, and I actually did laugh a couple times with him as around. So the amount of, I guess, fan support that he would get, he is the WWE Light Heavyweight Championship at the moment. The Cruiserweight Championship, I just kind of gave it to Kalisto. Kalisto right now is doing awesome, and they put him back with Sin Cara, and now he sucks again, which kind of is annoying. So I'm going to give him the Cruiserweight belt, and we're going to see where that goes. Obviously, only Cruiserweights can go for the Cruiserweight. Light Heavyweight, kind of fluid, right? It's kind of like the main event of the mid-card, right? So we're not going to have like jobbers or storylines like this. Everyone's going to be a fighter almost, and they're going to be fighting. What are they fighting for? They're fighting for a prize. Points will be awarded. More points gives you more rivalry opportunities, and I think this because the game will give me opportunities for rivalries. For instance, this first rivalry that they gave me is John Cena versus Randy Orton for a month. Alright, now this is going to cost John Cena Randy Orton, and I like the rivalry, but they owe me now. Okay, and I'm going to explain this. This is where the money comes in. So John Cena and Randy Orton have an automatic rivalry. Why? Because they're popular, and they're both on Raw. So if you have the more points, which means that you've appeared on the show, you have matches, you win, those give you points in my stats. But in this universe mode, they also give them points. So, I mean, you've seen universe modes where, like, Heath Slater suddenly, like, wins, like, 10 matches in a row and he becomes the WWE champion. It's happened before. Or in my universe mode a couple years back where David Otunga won the Royal Rumble, which happens, you know, because it's simulation. It's my thing. And that thing is that type of stuff is going to happen in this universe mode. And the more that happens, the more rivalry opportunities I will get. And this is where me being a general manager comes in. If, for instance, I didn't want to see John Cena versus Randy Orton one more goddamn time, excuse the French again, then I could veto it. I could say delete and just have the normal matches on the show that I wanted. right? So I could do that. And these matches aren't going to mean nothing. Here's the big problem with the storyline type shows I've been doing the past like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months to 2 years. You'll have the rivalry between John Cena and Randy Orton, and they have the same match every single week, and it's boring as hell. Or you have these random matches, which are kind of cool, but they don't mean anything. And when you try to make them mean something, the game screws you up. And that's where I have a problem with this. But now, if I introduce a prize, so for instance, Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, what are they fighting for? Well, an appearance gives them a point. A match gives them a point. And a match win gives them $1,000. If it's a gimmick match, say for instance this match was a cage match, which sometimes this universe mode does do, then they would win $10,000. Gimmick matches are heavy on the body, right? They're pretty stressful, you know? So deservingly they should be paid out. Now, you're getting money, you're getting the points to get rivalry opportunities. And these rivalry opportunities will come in randomly, or if you guys, the fans, want, you can keep track of how much money your superstar has, or ask me on comments on the YouTube and ask me how much money a superstar that you like has. And if you want them to be in a rivalry, they just need the money. All right? So here we go. Let's describe the money situation. I'm going to try to do this as much as possible without confusing people. And that's why this is a different video as compared to my normal video. It's a very delicate description of what my universe mode is going to be, because people are going to see it, they're not going to understand for a long time, and then they're going to be confused. This would work very, very well with Twitch, but I do not have a computer for Twitch. So here we go. Points will be awarded. The more points you get, the more that WWE 16 is going to give me random opportunities for people to have rivalries. All right? So more rivalry opportunities means more money. More money, more equals more title opportunities. The way this works, right, is that some of the shows throughout the year are going to cost money. So Extreme Rules free. If you're on that show, fine, whatever. I'm not worried about it. Money in the Bank, a spot in Money in the Bank is going to cost you $15,000. So the winner of John Cena, Randy Orton, gets $15,000. As a rivalry win is $15,000. So the winner of that rivalry could use that money, buy a spot into the Money in the Bank. Or they can grind and win 15 matches. Or they can win a rivalry and win $15,000. Or they can win a gimmick match and win $10,000. It's really going to depend on who has enough money to be in Money in the Bank. But don't worry, you get Money in the Bank, you can challenge for any title, right? So we get to SummerSlam, a spot in SummerSlam, and I don't mean just one match, I mean any match, right? Unless you're a champion, champions are void. If you're a champion, you're automatically invited to a pay-per-view. And if you're like a manager of a champion or a friend of a champion, you're automatically invited to a pay-per-view. But to get a spot on SummerSlam, you have to pay the bill. You've got to pay the money, right? So a spot at SummerSlam is going to cost you $20,000. If you want to be in a match at SummerSlam and you're not going for and say there's a championship, but you don't have money. So say we get to SummerSlam, all right? Say we get to SummerSlam, and Triple H is still the champion. He wants to fight against Stone Cold, title versus title, right? They're both technically legends, so I'll allow it. But let's not do it. Let's do a better example, because that's a bad example. But that's something that could happen. But so let's go with Stone Cold's the Legends champion. He's still the Legends champion at SummerSlam down here. But the person that the WWE 16 gives me is versus Dragon the Steamboat. So Stone Cold versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Good match. Should be great, right? No. If Ricky the Dragon Steamboat does not have the money to pay for that spot, he's kicked out, and whatever legend I see fit is put in his place. Say no legends have money to compete at SummerSlam. In that case, I would do a loan, almost, where they would owe me money, okay? And then they'd have to pay that back. At the end of the year, when we get to it, we're going to have slammies, okay? And we're going to have categories of who had the most points, okay? Who made the most money, who was the champion for the most amount of weeks. It's going to be stuff like that. And that's why I'm tracking all of this stuff. And that's why it's important to me. But let's continue on. If you want to, let's see, yes. So if you want to support your brand or your weight or your class system at Survivor Series, okay? Which is going to be Raw versus SmackDown. If you want to compete in that match, which it is a gimmick match, if you win it, you get 10 grand, and that's 10 grand split between five, let's see, so it would be split between 3 people. 10 split between 3 people is 3,300 each, right? And the extra 100 goes to, no, let's do 3,000 each. The extra 1,000 goes to the person who pinned or who survived. We'll figure that out later, because that's a very intricate match. But you want to compete in the Survivor Series, you've got to pay for that. And that one, of course, is going to be a little bit... let's just go with 15,000, again, with Money in the Bank. But it's going to go up higher. At the Royal Rumble, you want a spot in the Royal Rumble. You've had all year to collect money. You want a spot in the Royal Rumble? 25 grand to win the Royal Rumble. That's what you need to pay. You could pay $25,000 and end up getting number 1 in the Royal Rumble. That would suck, but it happens, right? So it's going to be an interesting universe mode. For me, too. And this is another big problem, is that sometimes I get bored of the matches. And I don't think I will with this. I can skip whatever ones I want, things like that. It's going to be great. So the Royal Rumble winner will receive $100,000. So they win 4 times the amount that they put in, and an automatic WrestleMania rivalry, which is a rivalry for 1-2 months, right? Rivalries are going to cost you. You want to be in a rivalry, it's going to cost you money. So let's go back to John Cena and Randy Orton. Those 2 guys, they're $5,000 in the hole. They owe me $5,000 each. That's it. I'm going to keep this as a lesson, and kind of as something to keep them low, because they're both the top superstars. This was a random rivalry, but I'm going to keep it because I at least want something, right? A spot at WrestleMania. If you want a spot at WrestleMania, that's going to cost you $50,000. If you're there at all, costs you $50,000. Of course, champions are automatically entered. So that's kind of how the money breaks down. Hopefully there's an app or a Google Doc that I can be able to send people to if they want, that they'll be able to see superstars and their current monetary situations. Because statistics is what I love. I love it. I just love it. I love statistics. So I'm going to try it, and we're going to see how it works out. And it's not a perfect system. I've been ranting for about 24 minutes, and you probably still don't know what the hell I'm going to do for my universe mode. And maybe you just haven't listened to it. But that's okay, because I expect that. So as I said, the points, you get 1 point for an appearance. So if you're a manager, you get a point. Or if you come and interrupt, you get a point. If you're on commentary, you get a point. If you get beat up, you get a point. If you're in the crowd, you get a point. If you're in the match, you get a point. So 2 people in the match, tag team match, all 4 people getting 4 points, right? If you win, you get 3 points in a tag team match, right? If you win, you get 3 points. So Darren Young and Titus O'Neil both get 3 points, and Stardust and Victor don't, or something like that. You win a match, you get $1,000. In a tag team match, I was thinking about splitting the money, but then I was like, nah, let's keep it the same. That's why it's good to have friends in the WWE. You want to make your money in tag team, you can. So Titus O'Neil and Darren Young both get $1,000 if they win. As I said, rivalry win gives you 15 grand, right? So if you pay 5,000 for a 1 month rivalry, then you You win 15, which is pretty good. Now, sometimes if the right person doesn't win, they'll automatically renew the rivalry. I'll just take that as John Cena and Randy Orton both doubled down. They want to renew their rivalry. And that's just going to be that. So at the end of it, at the most, they're going to both put in 15,000, and one of them will get it back. But they will get more points. They'll get more chances for a title opportunity, such and such and such and such. Okay? Championships will only be defended at a pay-per-view. Okay? So Extreme Rules, all the championships are going to be defended, and then we're going to have some matches that are going to be on that card. I'm thinking about charging people for those matches on the card, especially if they're gimmick matches, because I don't, but then again, maybe not, because to get into some of the later pay-per-views, you need a lot of money, you need a lot of cash, so maybe not. We'll see how it goes. We're going to be playing this kind of bareback, if bareback rules. It's kind of like in Monopoly, where you don't read the rules and you just kind of play, and you kind of figure it out as you go. And that's kind of what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be adding rules. I'm going to be creating a Google Doc. I'm going to kind of get a good statistics page going, see if I can make that public to everybody. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun, and it's going to be interactive. You guys want to comment on YouTube, and you want your comments to matter. If you want Finn Balor to be the champion, then force him to use his money. Go in the comments, tell me, Finn Balor has 15 grand. He wants a 3-month rivalry, which a rivalry costs 5,000 per month. So, okay, he wants a 3-month rivalry against who? Let's say Kevin Owens, and he wins all 3 months, right? He gains money, he gets fame, he gets up in the rankings on the WWE 16 top 10 thing, and he gets a championship title opportunity, right? It could happen, and you could be the person doing that. Say you're the biggest Stardust fan in the world, but nobody else cares about Stardust, and neither does WWE 16. If he has enough money and you want to put him in Money in the Bank, let me know. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna see how far we can take this. It's gonna be a new concept, and now that my ranting of 30 minutes is over, I want to get to recording some of this. I want to see how it works. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to go over a couple of these items again at the beginning of the next episode. So I want to thank you for watching. Derek D. Ginger King updating the channel. Thank God. Finally. Checking out.